This one's weird. Okay, so morbid curiosity got the best of me on this one. I was scrolling through Shudder like you do, and I came across this one, and well, it caught my attention. Just because as I've got a morbid fixation on strange films, and reading this one, I kept trying to figure out how this would work without being outright pornographic. So, I had to watch it. That said, I've pretty much reviewed softcore porn on here before, so it's not even outside my regular purview, but I didn't expect to find something like that on Shudder. And it's not exactly, but it's definitely very... Okay, so The Untamed. Also, the original title of this one, and I might butcher this, La Región Salvaje, or translates to the the wild region, I believe. Yeah, the wild region. So Untamed, wild region, close. Not to be confused with the Chinese Untamed series, which I'd like to review that at some point. But I would like to rewatch that one to do that, and that is a big 50-episode commitment, so not today. This Untamed is a Spanish film. Was it Mexico, or is it one of the other Latin countries? No, it is Mexican. Okay. And it's like a Mexican soap opera, and not a bad one either. It gets crossed with the Alien movie. Not Alien, but just an Alien movie. And it just kind of goes with it. Okay, so first off, this movie is very sexual. And there's... if you're not on board with that, this movie's going to be a turn off right on that. Then there is a lot of sex, a lot of nudity, masturbation. They full on... and it definitely goes full on things with human alien, and it doesn't also show away from showing a gay scene between two. And I was actually surprised that it went as far as it did there, and actually will kind of applaud it for showing these two guys going for it. So it's definitely not your standard and a bit ambitious in that regard. I will say I was kind of, in general, just the whole tone did have you kind of hypnotic. Now, the premise that I read on Shudder, as well as what shows up here in my IMDb app, is a bit misleading. And I quote, "A couple in a troubled marriage," well, there is that, "locate a meteorite," that does not happen, "initiating an encounter with a mysterious creature. Their lives are turned upside down by the discovery of the creature, which is the source of both pleasure and destruction." Okay, so, first off, the troubled couple does not encounter the meteor, or even the creature together. No. Okay, so the film mostly follows essentially three main characters. I guess depends on, well, we'll say four. So we have Alejandra, or Ale. She's kind of our main character here. She is married, and her husband is kind of an ass. Then the marriage is already in trouble, despite them having their two kids who are both fixated on both of them. But her husband, then Angel, is having an affair with her brother, Fabian. Now, her brother is one of those things where he wants to call this off. He's trying to move away from it, but he just can't. Then Angel is too... He's a hard guy to say no to, and Fabian's a little intimidated to say no. At the same time, it's one of those... It's clearly an abusive relationship already. Especially with the amount of homophobic comments Angel uses despite being in a gay relationship himself. So, Angel is not a very likable person. Meanwhile, Fabian, he works as a nurse, meets Veronica, who sort of becomes. They assume she's acting like his girlfriend, but it's more that she's becoming a friend of his that is leading him into something else. And that something else is what involves this alien. Now, Veronica is, I guess, a friend of the family who found the alien and has been kind of keeping it. This movie's hard to talk about and describe. She's pretty much addicted to fornicating with the alien. But the alien is now, I guess, growing tired and is only interested in one person for so long before it just kind of wants to move along. And gets increasingly dangerous to the people who essentially try to get with it too often. And she's pretty much become addicted to it, which seems to be something that happens with this creature. So, so when she gets wounded by it, she goes to the doctor and meets Fabian. And so she introduces Fabian to the alien, and he does not survive the encounter. Which gets into a lot of the melodrama of Ale finding out that her brother was in a relationship with her husband, and now her husband's up for the murder of Fabian, and a lot of his text messages seem to indicate that he did it as Fabian was starting to ignore him. There's a lot of threatening messages, so to the police it seems open and shut. Meanwhile, Veronica and Ale now begin hitting it off, and likewise she gets introduced to the alien with less fatal results. And it just kind of escalates to that point of Fabian trying to get out of prison and get revenge on his wife for throwing him in there. Then Ale becoming increasingly obsessed with the creature and the strange circumstances therein. It's a weird movie, but it's hypnotic. And yes, we do see full-on alien sex in this, with a octopoid-looking creature. The creature is mostly CG, with the exception of a few tentacles that are used for what you'd expect. But the CG actually isn't very bad, and they don't ever linger on the creature too long for it to look too fakey. So the effects are good. The acting, the kids can be a little bit obnoxious, but otherwise most of the characters seem fine to me. But it's kind of hard to judge acting in another language sometimes, because you miss on certain inflections, and so it's kind of hard to judge acting in other languages a bit, but from I could tell, things look good. This movie it's a strange one, but I weirdly recommend it. I'm going to give this one a 6 MacGuffins for the Untamed. It's definitely something outside it. It's never a very... But you have to be ready for more of a drama than a horror film. It's a sci-fi drama. And the relationships and how the characters interact with each other are at the heart of the movie, particularly the troubled marriage between Ale and Angel. And yeah, this film doesn't shy away from anything, so just be ready for that going in, and just kind of take it as it is. It's a weird movie, but I liked it. 6 MacGuffins for me. It wasn't great, but I can't say I was bored during this thing. I did always want to know where it was going. Alright, so Untamed 2016. I don't know if I said that earlier. So it's a fairly recent one. It is up on Shudder. I don't think it's a Shudder original, so I don't know how long it's going to be there, but I had never heard of this film beforehand, but it's worth a watch. Alright, take care, everybody.